like my back is hurting, and I realized that I need to do more exercise. Hey everyone, it's Natalie, also known as Knitty Natty. Welcome to episode 137 of the Love and Stitches podcast. Toaster is here with me today. You can see his tail. He's hanging out on the bed along with all the stuff that I'm going to show today. It is another beautiful day here. It's so funny, when I prepare for the podcast, I have some notes that I take and I like copy them over from the week before and then change anything that's new. And it was literally like, it's a beautiful sunny day today. I worked on these 3 projects. I did this with my life, and I'm like, oh, is the podcast interesting when I'm doing the same thing all of the time? But you know what? I'm not doing the same thing all the time. Sometimes there are weeks that are super similar, and that is just life. But I do have quite a few project updates to share with you today. I'm also introducing kind of a new segment here later on. I'm not wearing any knitting today. It's actually, what is the temperature right now? It's beautiful and sunny and 50 degrees, but because of our apartment being like all windows, it gets it gets really, really warm. So we've actually started turning on our air conditioning at night. It's really not helping. We need to get a fan. I need to get like another kind of bed cover so that I'm not sweltering at night. It just gets really, really warm. We can have the window open, but it's loud. And so it's just like, you know, not a win-win. If you have been following me for a while, you know I'm a huge proponent of central air conditioning. I don't understand why one would not have central air conditioning, especially when it is like, you know, 50 degrees today and still probably 75 to 80 degrees here inside the apartment. Anyway, I digress. Let's move on to some projects. So I have been in kind of a single-mindedness area with my projects right now. I'm trying to finish things up because I have quite a lot of projects going on. Actually, you know what? Let me talk about this first because before I show any projects, because I was like, I just got to a point this weekend where I really wanted to kind of see an overview of all the projects that I had and just make a plan. It's mid-April right now, and I like to kind of look at things month to month for my projects. And if anything is lingering, I'm like, why is this project lingering? Do I not want to make it anymore? Do I just need to go ahead and make a plan to get it finished? Is it something that I want to rip out? Like, kind of just like analyzing things. So I have just bought a brand new notebook that I love because it has gold. And I got it from Paper Source, which is a chain. I don't know, there's a bunch of them here in New York City. I don't know, I'm sure you can buy from them online. But anyway, it's just a notebook. And I've been using notebooks a lot lately because I use it as part of my planning to like get my thoughts out. And then I like, instead of having multiple sticky notes or pieces of paper, anytime I have something that I need to like think out, I just put it in here, I fill it up pretty fast, and then I just get rid of it. Like, it's just a working space for me. So anyway, I made a list here, and I have something on the other page, so I'm gonna try not to show that. I made a list of my April knitting plans. So what I have here is all of my current, oops, you don't need to see that part, all of my current whips. I then have anything that I wanted to finish this month, and then things that are coming up to kind of help me plan things out. So my whips, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 whips technically, and I'm not including my scrappy blanket in this because that's a long-term whip. So I have my Harlow Hat, my Outstanding Shawl, my Party Punch Shawl, my float tote, and my Prismatic sweater. I am going to show some of these here in just a second. And so I want to finish 3 out of 5 of those in April: the Harlow Hat, the Party Punch, and my Prismatic sweater. And then I kind of put like things that are coming up that I want to work on. So I have another sweater I want to start. I'm going to show the yarn that I got for that today. And I'm going to start that after I finish the sweater I'm currently working on. So I don't know when I'll start that, but hopefully soon. And then starting in May, we're doing a brioche challenge in the membership. So I need to pick out a new project for that. And I want to clear my needles so that I don't have another brioche project going on. So anyway, the 3 projects that I want to finish, I then broke down here in the bottom, like how I'm going to work on them throughout the rest of the month. So I essentially decided that my party punch shawl, because I have done almost nothing on it, I'm not going to worry about that one right now. I'm going to work on it in the last week of the month if I want to. I'm actually kind of undecided on that because it's a new technique for me. It's Tunisian crochet and I really do like doing it, but like, I don't know if I'm in the mindset right now. I was excited when I started it. I'm not feeling so excited about it right now. So I am tabling that decision till the last week of April, which is a week from today. And I will figure it out then. If I want to tear it out, then I tear it out and I'll use that yarn for something else. My Harlow hat, you know what? Actually, I'll talk about those plans as I show you those projects. I think that makes more sense. But anyway, if you're kind of feeling ever overwhelmed by your projects, I find that it really does help to kind of write out everything that you have and then decide what you're not going to be working on. Because sometimes having all those whips, even if you're not actually working on them, they're kind of weighing on your mind. So if you decide like, hey, I am not going to work on these right now. They are going to be worked on later, or I can decide on them later. I'm going to pull forward like, I don't know, a couple of different whips and focus on finishing those or making decisions on those. Do I keep them or frog them? And there's just something about the mental weight of projects that doesn't affect everybody, but it does affect some people and it affects me, that it's just nice to go, okay, that's decided on. The decision is that I'm actually going to put it aside and decide on it later, but I've decided. Anyway, some of you will say, yes, that makes so much sense. And some of you will be like, what are you talking about? But if that makes sense to you, then you are my same mindset kind of people. Okay, so let's talk about Harlow and I'll talk about my plan to finish it. So this is, my gosh, I love this. This is the Harlow hat. It is a brioche hat by Andrea Mowry, and I'm using 2 yarns. The first one is a fingering weight yarn, a Zen Garden silk, cashmere silk, and superwash merino. It's called Serenity Silk, and the colorway is Mystical. And then the second yarn is from a Homespun House in their mohair, kid mohair and silk fingering weight base. And the colorway is Fresh Sheets. Both of these are stash yarns. The mohair I split into 2, and I'm holding it double as 1 yarn. And I have all 3 of these sitting here in my 2 skein float tote, which is the oval version, with no cups. They're just all sitting there at the bottom, all in a row, which is working out great. Oh, I have 2 cool stitch markers on this that I actually remember where they're from. So this one is oh, actually, wait a second. Who is this from? I think this one's from, I just got this one in a swap from my membership. And I think it's from 3 by the Sea. It's got pink stars, star glitter. I love these things. And then this one I got as a birthday present. It's a sparkly Mickey out of acrylic. I actually don't know exactly where it's from, but it's the same as, hold on. It looks really similar to my ones from Fangirl Fibers. So my guess is it's from Fangirl Fibers. Anyway, I need to do some cleaning out of that. I think I've mentioned that before. So I haven't done a ton since last week. Actually, that's not true. I've kind of doubled it. I've just finished the brim portion. So in this, it's a brioche pattern. I've got 2 strands of mohair as my knit, and I've got 1 strand of fingering weight as my purl. If you ever want to start out with brioche, start with 2 color in the round brioche. It is the easiest version in my opinion, and only has 2 repeat rows. So it's really great to learn. And this will be reversible. You can see here is the other side. I think it's going to be so cool. So the brim is worked in one size needle and the rest of the hat is worked in another size. So I've just completed the brim and I've switched to a larger size needle, which I am really grateful for because it will go slightly faster, but also the other needle I was using, I think I already put it back in my needle case, was one of those carbons needles where it's like has the metal tip and like carbons here, and it was catching, my mohair was catching. So these are just regular, I think these are Chai-Gu's, just regular needles, smooth, and so it's so much more comfortable knitting with this. I did end up going down a needle size because my gauge was just far too big, and it's looking a lot better. I can't really try it on, but this seems to be quite right. It's super, super stretchy, so it's gonna fit just fine. This was my original attempt on the larger size needle, which I just switched to, but that was too big for the brim. So it was like way too big. But as that part is now gonna be like up here, I think it should be fine. I don't know why I'm hanging on to this still. I guess I'm just like, every once in a while, I'm like reassuring myself that this was the right decision to continue knitting this size. I'm making the medium, like the adult size, I think. And so I'm just hanging on to it for reassurance. I really should just get rid of this because I should have plenty of yarn, but there it is, just hanging out. So back to goals. Let me fix my hair. So my goals, to finish this by April, I have 2 more weeks. So my plan is to knit on it for 3 inches this week. So I'll move my cute little progress keeper and I'll measure 3 inches. So I have 7 days to do that. I think that's doable. And then the following week, my plan is to do the remaining 2 inches that I need for the body of the hat, plus the crown. And the crown is another like inch or so, but it will go even faster because you start to decrease your stitches for the crown. So I think this is very reasonable to do by the end of April. And it helps so much to see it that way because I think if I hadn't done that, I would have been like working on it here and there without really any intention. So now I'm like, okay, 3 inches this week. I will start working on that. Like, I don't know. My other thing that I'm working on right now is the Prismatic sweater, trying to get that done. So I'm kind of more trying to work on that. But once I get the Prismatic sweater done, actually no, I'd rather work on both the Harlow Hat and the Prismatic sweater, my 2 things that I want to get done first, daily. So I might just try to get in a little bit each day. I could break that down even further and divide 3 up by 7 or 3 by 6. I could say, oh, I need to do a 1/2 inch each day and a buffer day, but that's getting a little too detailed for me right now. I'd rather just like work on it here and there, and then as I get toward the end of the week, reevaluate. So Harlow Hat is my first, actually I'm gonna move the stitch marker, my first whip of the week. Yeah, I did do quite, you know what, I knit quite a bit on that. I always feel like I haven't done that much knitting until I actually sit down and show it for the podcast. And I'm like, no, I did actually do quite a bit of knitting. It was just on the same few projects. Okay, here is the other project that I am just trying to get done here and have a plan for. So this is the, whoa, Prismatic sweater by Wool and Pine Designs. You've seen me work on this for a long time. It is time for this thing to be done. So main color here is Suburban Stitcher Sock in the colorway Cinder, I believe. I never remember. It is linked to my project page down below. The dark gray that outlines the color work is a Miss Babs yarn. I have that linked too. I actually pulled it off of a large skein and just use a little bit for this. And then the pink is the real star here. Hooker's Corner in the color Check Yourself, a breast cancer awareness color. And I just love it. So where we left off last is I said I had tried it on and it was a little bit big and I wasn't sure what to do. I was also debating whether I wanted to do long or short sleeves. So I have done a couple things. With the advice from my members. I was on Zoom with them and they suggested to block it before finishing it. And so I did. I blocked it and I tried it on. So what I did is I put I wanted to take all the metal off and put everything on holders. So I put all of the sleeve stitches on yarn because I had them on those circular stitch holders with the little metal needle, and you don't want to put metal into water and soak with your sweater, because that can be bad. Like it can rust and get onto your yarn and ruin your needles and everything. So I put both of the sleeve stitches on yarn and I've just left them on there because there's no point of transferring them back to the stitch holder and then to the needles. I'm just going to transfer straight to needles. For the bottom portion, I put it on my try it on tubing. I could not get the try it on tubing to go onto the sleeves, or I would have done that. So I did that down here and took all of my stitch markers off, and then I soaked it. And I tried it on, and you know what? I think I do have a picture of me trying it on after. So I will try to get that in here. I'm just making a little note so I can make sure to have that. I tried it on, it fits, it's definitely a little big. It's a little oversized, more than I probably would pick if I was gonna make this again, but not too oversized to discontinue making this. I also then compared it to my Sea Glass Tee, another yoke sweater, also by Wool and Pine Designs, and my Sorrel, another yoke sweater, also by Wool and Pine Designs. And it actually is quite similar in size for the yoke. And then I was comparing it to the length as well to try to figure out how long to make it. So I got everything back on the needles and I have started working on the ribbing. I think I do have my little cute little gummy bear from Black Pearl Magic. I haven't done that much actual knitting. I did a little bit of stockinette and I've started on the ribbing because a couple of days were spent in pouting, going, is this gonna be too big? I don't know if I wanna keep working on it. And then a couple of days, well, maybe a full like 24, 48 hours were spent washing and waiting for it to dry. Tried it on, got it back on the needles, and got back to work on it finally over the weekend. So yeah, that's why this has taken me a while this week, but I'm happy that I did it. It also not only helped me see how the yoke fit, but blocking it let me see the length because I am using a superwash yarn. Superwash yarn tends to stretch, so a lot of times when you're making a sweater with superwash yarn, you might not want to totally weave in your ends on like your sleeves and the hem because it might block out longer. You can also maybe do a little bit less, like there's not really a hard and fast rule unless you've made a good swatch that you measured before and after blocking, because then you can just use row gauge to knit it to the length that you want. But you know, in general, I would say when you're knitting superwash yarn in a sweater, you can expect it to grow maybe an inch or so when you do block it and wear it. But again, that's not a hard and fast rule. Doing a gauge swatch is much better. So anyway, I'm now working on the ribbing and I have a plan to get this done. I also decided I'm going to do short sleeves because I want to finish this for one, but more, I want to wear it right now. And if I make it in long sleeves, it's gonna be too warm for the current weather. Honestly, short sleeves is on a little bit warm for the current weather because I just find like I'm hot right now in this long sleeve t-shirt and it's 50 degrees outside. So I think I just run warm. Short sleeve sweaters are gonna be good for me because I can wear them for longer. If it's a cold day, I can put a jacket on. Anyway, I'm just finding myself grabbing short sleeve sweaters a lot right now, and I think this is gonna be super cute short sleeve. So I already have a little bit of the gray, so I think I'm just gonna pick the stitches up and go into ribbing for like an inch and bind it off and be done with the sleeves. So this is gonna go pretty quick. I'm already into the ribbing, so let's see what my plan is here. I know I'm already behind on what I planned for the weekend, and that's okay, I'm gonna adjust. So my plan originally was to, I think I got it back on the needles on Saturday. I was like, I'll do an inch of stockinette on Saturday, that's done. I'll do all the ribbing on Sunday, that did not happen. I am, let's see, I need to do 2 inches of ribbing, and I think I'm just a little over an inch. Let me measure it and see. I haven't actually measured it yet. I just got all distracted over the weekend. I was doing other stuff. Oh yeah, I'm only like barely an inch into the ribbing. I think one row shy of an inch. So I've got a bit more ribbing to go. I probably need to give myself another couple days for that. And then I think each sleeve will take 1 day. So I really need to rework my dates here on this, because ideally I will finish it by, well, honestly, it'd be nice to finish it Wednesday so I can block it and it will be completely dry. Oh, no, wait. I want to wear it on Saturday. So let's work backwards. If I want to wear it on Saturday, ideally I'd block it on Thursday night. It dries really fast. So if it has all day Friday to dry, Thursday night is fine. So, okay, let's think about this. If I have it to finish it on Thursday night, Thursday I can count as a day of knitting. So I have today, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I've got 4 more days. So I can give myself a couple days for the ribbing and a day each for the sleeves. Perfect. So I really want to finish this up. I want to wear it on Saturday because I am going to a Yarnia event, which I'll talk more about in the news section. But yeah, my Prismatic sweater is knitting up so nicely. I'm super pleased with it. It is a little big, so I'm going to remember that when I choose a size for my next yoke sweater. I've still got one more project to show you, and that is my Outstranding Shawl. I've got it in my 3 skein float tote here. So here it is. Ta-da! This is the Outstanding Shawl by Christy Archer Designs. And I have my cute little, I put a bunny on here for Easter. My bunny stitch marker, I did a ton this past week. This was really like the project that I worked on all during the week last week until I got to the end of the texture section, because that was my goal. And then I started working on my other projects. So like I said, I'm kind of in this mindset of like, work on one thing really hard to a point, stop, work on the next thing. So it's helping me right now to kind of have these plans in place. Why is this marker in here? Oh, those were my last few repeats. Anyway, so I am all done now with the texture section. Did I already say this is the Outstanding Shawl by Christy Archer? I am using a kit from Yarnia. It is Madeline Tosh. The main color is Madeline Tosh in the colorway Modern Fair Isle. These are all Tosh sock yarns. And my 2 contrast colors are Grapefruit and Geranium. And I'm going to be adding those in over this week. So I'll show them right now, but they're not in the shawl yet. This is going to be so cute. I'm going to alternate these, starting with the orange, and then end up using pink for my hem. At least that is my plan right now. So I'm really excited about that. Now, this is not a project that I'm trying to get done in April, because this is a knit along project that I am hosting with Yarnia, which is a shop in New Jersey. And again, that's going to be more in the news section. I'll share more about that make along or that knit along. But I am hosting this, and so I'm trying to keep it spread out and work on it throughout the knit along so that I can be participating in it with all of you. I find that it's really hard as a host for make alongs that I don't actually participate in the make along because I'm too busy, like caught up in planning for the next thing, honestly. And so, or I'm kind of like burnt out because I've been preparing for it. And so I don't want that to happen anymore for make-alongs, knit-alongs that I host. So I am carving out space in my projects for me to work on the make-alongs as things go along. I mean, this may not be the case for every single make-along that I do, but at least for kind of like project-based ones like this and Sock Week and Fall Garment Make-Along, and we have a lot coming up later in the year. But I'm like, I want to actually be in it and participating and checking in with people because it is way more fun that way. And I really am a part of it and feel like I'm doing the make-along with everyone, which is the whole point of a make along, I think, is the community. So I am taking my time, going nice and slow on this. We had 2 weeks to work on this texture part. I have a workshop that I'm doing with lots of knitters and several of the knitters. And we did the texture section for 2 weeks. Now we have 2 weeks to work on our color work, although I do have a mini version and I've been practicing and it's so much fun. So I'm even more excited to get started on this week. So we're going to be doing the color work for the next 2 weeks and then the border for 2 weeks. I mean, we're just taking it nice and slow. So this one's not going to be done until May, and I'm okay with that. Again, having decided how I'm going to do this, it feels different and it feels comfortable and a-okay. So those are my 3 projects. Really hoping to have something finished to show you here next week. And I already have plans for when I'm done with one thing, what I'm going to be working on next. I wanted to start a new segment of the podcast called Maker Spotlight. So once a month, I'm hoping to highlight a maker from our community, whether it's a podcaster or a designer or a yarn dyer or a maker of some other kind, and just kind of spotlight them and share them with you. And this is going to be somebody that I love and can't wait to share with you. So this month's Maker Spotlight is Black Pearl Magic. You may have heard of Shayla recently because of Shop Yarnia, or Yarnia in New Jersey. They are the shop that we're working together for the spring shawl cowl. But they recently got a huge shipment of Black Pearl Magic bags, and I feel like all I hear in my ear all day is like, Black Pearl Magic, oh my gosh, they're sold out, oh my gosh, I want one. And I'm going to tell you that they do live up to the hype. So Shayla is a bag maker. She also does stitch markers and I think some pins, maybe. I will have her shop link down below. She has her own site. And on Instagram, she's at Black Pearl Magic. But I just want to show you a few of the bags that I have from Shayla. So I think she's most known for her vinyl bags. So this is one of the clear star vinyl bags. They are so well made. They're so cool, like box bottom. This is one of the I think this is the largest size that she makes. I don't know, they're really neat. I've got an entire float tote in here with all of its yarn. So yeah, it's a big bag, but they're just neat. Like they're definitely protective because they're vinyl. So I don't think your needles are gonna poke out of here, you know, on the off chance your project does get wet or something spills, it's gonna be protected as long as it's in here and, you know, the zipper's not open like mine is. But they're just like a really, really cool bag. They're pretty stiff, but like they squish a little bit. Though you probably don't want to squish them too much because it'll kind of mess with the vinyl. But anyway, I have a large bag with clear stars. And I also have a medium-sized bag, which I like to use a lot, with pink stars. I've got all my Perfect Fit sock stuff in here right now. But again, it has like the really cool zippers, and they're really, really nicely made. So this one's a little smaller. And then most recently, I got a small bag. It's really small. I haven't used it yet. This one just has like all over glitter. I'm not even sure. It might just look kind of like marbly, but it's got like fine glitter in it. So I haven't used this one yet, but I'm excited to use it for maybe socks or a hat or something, but it's pretty small, so it doesn't fit a ton. But the first bag that I ever got from Shayla, and here's her logo actually, is a fabric bag. And she still makes fabric bags, and her fabric bags are fantastic. Like, I know the vinyl bags are really cool, and they are really cool, and they're totally worth it, and I have 3 of them. But please do not discount the fabric bags because Shayla is so talented. She is so good at making. I've had this squished away. I haven't used it in a minute because I haven't made a lot of socks lately. But this is my little sock bag. It's got canvas on the bottom, like a nice stiff canvas, I guess like a wax canvas. Box bottom. It's fully lined, just really, really well made. And it's got cute little handles, which I don't really use the handles, but I guess you could use the handles. I mostly just let them flop, like they don't get in the way. Why I love this bag so much is it's the perfect size for a pair of socks. If you split your, I mean, you can just fit a full skein in here, but I like to split my sock yarn into 2 50-gram cakes, and they sit like perfectly on the bottom, right next to each other. And then you can fit both socks in on top and close it. And it's much squishier than the vinyl, so it really fits into my like purse backpack really well. This is probably my all-time favorite bag, honestly. So Shayla, like I said, she's known for those vinyl bags, but don't discount her fabric bag. She's also been making so much custom vinyl and custom fabric, and it's really hard to get her bags, I think, in her updates. So when you see them at yarn stores, get them. I think she's going to be at Maryland Sheep and Wool, not at the actual festival, but at a side event. I don't know. I heard that from somebody. This may be misinformation. I may have heard it wrong, but I think she is going to be there. She also does markers. So she does stitch markers like this one is from her that I got a while ago. And I'm pretty sure this gummy bear one was from her. My friend gifted this one to me, so I actually didn't buy it, so I'm not 100% certain, but she finds cute little things, and I think she has pins as well, but mostly she's a bag maker. So if you can't tell by my collection, I don't really buy bags a lot. I think the last 3 bags I bought were all Shayla's. They're pretty fantastic, and they're so fun. I feel like I have a complete collection now, but she keeps coming out with new stuff, so it's hard to resist. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this maker spotlight. I will have Black Pearl Magic linked down below. I have a few things to share today in our news segment. So the first is the Spring Shawl Knit Along 2022 is continuing. We are now 2 weeks in. We started on April 4th, and this make along continues through May 26th. We are, actually I should say, when I say we, I do literally mean we. Yarnia in New Jersey, Shop Yarnia, and I have teamed up for this make along. And we have selected the Outstanding Shawl by Christy Archer, which I am working on right here and showed earlier. And so we are coming up on our second event for the make along. It is next week. Actually, it will be a week from the day the podcast drops. It's on Thursday, April 28th. And we are going to be on the Yarnia, Chronicles of Yarnia YouTube channel for a live interview with Christy Archer, who is the designer of the Outstanding Shawl. So please come and join us for that. I will link the info down below. It's going to be in the evening here, Eastern time. I think the time we've picked is 6 o'clock, but I can't remember off the top of my head. So I'll make sure to have the info down below, and I'll of course share it on Instagram and everything as we're coming up to it. So come and join us for that. And if you have not cast on a shawl yet, but you still want to participate, we still have 6 weeks left for the knit along. So there's plenty of time to join. It's not a huge oversized shawl, so you should be able to cast on and finish it still before the end of the knit along on April 26th. So Spring Shawl Cowl, come join us. This is a new announcement. I am really excited to share with you that I am going to be teaching at an online event. So I recently learned of an event company called Floxy, and they are putting on the Neon Spring event, which is an online event. It's all weekend long for like knitters, crocheters, and makers. So I will link the event info down below. It's called Neon Spring. And I am going to be teaching a demo class. I have my notes here because I want to make sure I named this class, but it's really long. So I want to make sure I get it right. But I am teaching a demo class called Spring Cleaning, Decluttering, and Organizing Your Yarn Stash and Tools. I'm already in that mode of spring cleaning. You know that I have a goal of eliminating my stash this year. And even if you don't have that goal, I'm going to be teaching tons of tips and tricks on how you can go through your own stash, no matter what the size is, no matter if you have more yarn, more tools. I'm going to be giving just kind of some basic skill sets that can help you go through your stash. This is going to be a live class, and it's a demo class, which means if you buy a marketplace ticket, which I think is like $12.50 maybe, you get access to all of the demos. So you'll be able to come to my class with that ticket. Plus there's demos like all day long. So you'll be able to go to tons, tons and tons of essentially free classes or included classes. And then they also have a la carte classes that are like longer class segments from different instructors. So please go check out Floxy and the Neon Spring event. Make sure you follow them on Instagram. Their Instagram is something funny, but I think it's like FLOX.SIE. Hold on, let me see really quickly. I know it's something like a little bit different, which I don't want to send you to the wrong thing. But I think that they are going to be up and coming with lots of different events. Yeah, this is them. So it's FLOX.SIE. Here it is. And the event that I am going to be part of is Neon Spring. Looks like that. Neon Spring. But I do have the link down below so that you can go check out like everything that comes with a marketplace ticket, because there is virtual vendors that you can purchase things from by being a part of that. Anyway, all kinds of stuff that I haven't even dived into myself. I always want to say dove. I haven't even dived into myself, but I am going to be teaching at a demo class on Saturday, April 30th at 3 p.m. Eastern Time for spring cleaning your yarn stash and tools. So sign up for a marketplace ticket so that you can go do all of the events, the demo events and other things, and then come join me for that. It's only going to be hosted within the event, and it's via Zoom, so you can join from anywhere in the world. And I'm really excited to participate in that. Last announcement, the New Jersey Wool Walk is starting this Saturday, April 23rd. I'll link their event page down below. I think it goes through May 1st, so it's like almost 2 weeks long. But I'm going to be meeting some friends, some people from my membership that I am meeting in person for the first time, and we are going to several of the yarn shops, not all like 20 of them or however many are in the Wool Walk, but we're going to be going to several of the yarn shops and shopping around. Kent's going to come with me so that we can film a vlog and share that experience hopefully next week. And I'm just really excited about it. We've had it planned for a while, and I'm like giddy for the weekend because we're going to go check out all these shops that I haven't been to before and do some yarn shopping. I don't know exactly what my plan is going to be. I better start coming up with one because, as you know, I am trying adamantly not to add to stash, but I just don't want to let that limit me from seeing special items and like wanting to purchase them. So I have a feeling that I may end up with a couple of skeins of yarn that are, you know, new to me that I might not be able to get here in the city or any closer stores. Or maybe I will get some accessories just so I can have something from that yarn shop. I've also thought about just buying fun things and then giving it away because sometimes it's just fun to like see new things and support local yarn stores, and then I don't really need it myself necessarily because it doesn't help me get towards my goal of eliminating my yarn stash. But anyway, I need to sort through that and figure out what I want to do. But regardless, I'm going to be going to all these yarn stores over the weekend, and I'm super excited about it, and we will be vlogging it and maybe posting a couple things on Instagram during it. I don't know. I have a feeling it's going to be a whirlwind of a day, so it might be a little bit crazy, but look for that coming up soon. All right, a little life update here. Over the weekend, I ended up taking a break off of Instagram again. I don't know if I'm going to be doing this every weekend, but it felt so good again. And this is where I feel like I'm repeating myself. Like, Natalie, you had the same weekend, you had the same kind of week, you worked on the same projects. But again, that's just sometimes life, isn't it? So I took another Instagram break, and I just felt more like in the moment with stuff, and it was really great. I did a lot of cleaning and organizing this weekend, just basic cleaning stuff. Like I'd been really behind on laundry and just like putting some things away, and so that felt really good to kind of get that all rounded out and done without the feeling the urge to like post about it on Instagram, because I do have a cleaning and lifestyle Instagram too, aside from Knitty Natty. And so sometimes when I'm like cleaning, I feel like I need to post. And so having removed the need to be on Instagram, I was just able to get stuff done, and that felt really nice. Nice little break. So I did that, and then I got all organized. I have like a spring cleaning list now because I need to go through a lot of things and declutter and just get kind of, you know, the house back in order. It's been a year since we moved here, and I feel like at least once a year you kind of just need to go through things and like see what's up and see what you have and what you're not using. On Saturday, I think, yeah, on Saturday, I was like, you know what, I want to do something out of the house. Kent had gone with friends to do something that I was not interested in, which is a car show. And I was like, nah, I don't want to go to that. I'd rather go to the yarn store and get some cookies. And so, two separate things. There's not cookies at the yarn store. There is a cookie place by Knitty City, and it's my favorite cookie place. So I was like, you know what? I think I will take a walk. So I walked to Knitty City, which is a 2 mile, almost a 2 mile walk from my place. And I was there for one reason, and that was to find yarn to go with this yarn that I have in my stash for the Tessellation Tee by Stephanie Aaron, which is the sweater I plan to cast on after I'm done with Prismatic. It's going to be a crochet sweater, and I'm really excited about it, but I needed a contrast yarn, and I just couldn't find anything. Like online, I was having a hard time matching color, so I wanted to go in person to Knitty City. They did end up having the exact same base, which is Madeline Tosh Twist Light, but I didn't actually like any of the colors with this yarn. They were too kettle dyed, too variegated. So I ended up getting a different yarn base, but I think it goes together so well. And I do not know if this is showing up nicely on here, but this color is called Eggplant. And imagine this at the top. It looks so dark when in the screen right now. I don't know if it's actually coming across, but it is a super dark purple. It's called Eggplant. And this is, whoa, Eggplant. And this is Malabrigo sock in, yeah, Eggplant. So it is a different fiber content because Twist Light is 75/25, but it's a 3-ply. And this is 100% superwash merino, also a 3-ply. So they actually kind of look and match better than other bases, even though their fiber content is slightly different. So I felt comfortable using these together. I really was kind of leaning towards a purple or a blue anyway. And then I thought, ooh, maybe black or dark gray. But then I thought that would be boring. So I kind of got the best of both worlds with a dark purple that leans towards neutral, but it is purple. And again, I don't think it's showing up on the camera, but it looks really cool. So that was fun. I got to go to Knitty City and I found what I needed. And then I hopped a couple blocks over to Le Vin, which is a bakery here. They have them all over the city, and they have my favorite cookies. So I grabbed a couple cookies, and then I walked myself home, and then I felt like super old after that, because I was like, oh my gosh, my hips are hurting, and like my back is hurting. And I realized that I need to do more exercise. Because I guess when you are 30 years old, your body is like, absolutely not. We cannot just casually walk 4 miles on a Saturday. Stop it. My feet were hurting. Oh, I think I've already worn down my tennis shoes and I need to get some more. But anyway, I had a good time, and then I came home and I stretched it out and I did some knitting on the couch. On Sunday, it was Easter Sunday, and we didn't have any big plans. We just kind of wanted to hang out at home, but we did do an Easter hunt with, well, we did like a treat hunt, I guess, for Toaster. We got him a new rawhide bone, and I think we have a video of it, a little clip, but kind of like did like little treats to like lead him up to the rawhide bone, and then he spent all day chewing on that thing. I will say that I'm probably not going to give Toaster rawhide anymore, because after I watched him like chew through it, he had these big chunks, and then I started to research about rawhide bones, and I know that there will be people here that probably have opinions on this or more information about that, and that's fine. Just share what you know. But at least from what I was Googling, which is not always the best resource, but it seems like rawhide is probably not the best choice for most dogs, because it's not going to be digested well if they get big chunks of it. And Toaster is an aggressive chewer, and so he kind of was like chewing it all the way down. I probably should have only let him have it for like an hour, but he was having so much fun. So he chewed like half of it and ate it. It does soften, but I don't know if he was eating the pieces softened or not. Anyway, he's 100% fine. Once it broke down into like 2 chunks, I threw it away. And he seemed fine with that. He was like tired after chewing on that for all day. So he had a great time. We had a great time, and it was a lovely weekend overall. I did do quite a bit of reading and watching like usual. I finished up Only Skein Deep, which is the knitting murder mystery series I've been reading for over a year by Maggie Sefton. And I do include the titles of these shows, movies, and books in the description. So if you're ever like, what did she say? I have them down in the description box. So I finished that book, and I'm really sad because I only have one book left in the entire series. It's either like the 16th or 17th or 18th book. I've been reading them for so long, and I'm sad that they're going to be over, but I do know that there are many knitting murder mystery series out there. So after I finish the other books that I'm reading, the Bridgerton series, I might venture into a whole new avenue. So after finishing Only Skein Deep, I luckily received the 7th Bridgerton book from the library. I read all my books digitally, and I borrow them from the library. I belong to several different libraries. Technically, I'm using my mom's library card for one of them, but that helps me get the books that I need. So I like to borrow books from the library, and I am okay with waiting for them rather than having to purchase books, because I'm not a rereader of books most of the time. So I got the 7th book, which is called It's in His Kiss, and it's Hyacinth's story, and this is the second to last of that one. So I'm like really kind of sad right now, because I just finished the second to last book of one series. I'm starting the second to last book of another series, although there may be more to read around the Bridgerton book collection, I think. But anyway, I just hate that. It's like I almost don't want to read them because I don't want them to end, because I've enjoyed them so much. But what will usually happen is I'll be fixated on a book series for a while, and then I'll read a few books that I like less, like in between, like they're okay, and then finally I'll find like a new series that I'm obsessed with, and then I will read that. So I love reading series, because then I don't have to think, what am I going to read next? I just read the next book and the next book, and it's really great. We watched a few things this weekend. I finished The Ultimatum on Netflix. My gosh, it is so good. If you like, what's the other show that they did? Love is Blind. I think you'll like The Ultimatum even more. I did. It was so good. From start to finish, even the reunion, amazing. So watch The Ultimatum. And then I started the Home Edit season 2, because I totally forgot that it was on there, and I'm in an organization mindset. So I was like, yes, I'm gonna watch the Home Edit. And then I made my spring cleaning plan, and I did some cleaning, and then I watched another episode and knit, and it was just amazing. So I'm still working on Home Edit season 2. Which is just a show where these 2 women and their team, they go around and they organize different spaces. They will do a celebrity space and I guess like non-celebrity, just an average home space in the same episode, which is really fun. And then what else? Oh, we watched a couple movies this weekend. We watched Don't Look Up, which is on Netflix, and Murder Mystery, which is from 2019, also on Netflix. And both of those were good. I'd actually already seen Murder Mystery, but I couldn't remember we've watched a lot of like basically like Murder on the Orient Express spinoffs, because we watched Death on the Nile like 2 weekends ago, and then Murder Mystery is basically the same thing, but it has Jennifer Aniston and Adam Sandler in it, so it was pretty funny. And then Don't Look Up was really good. I had no idea what it was going to be about, and it was like funny and serious. And then I went, when we finished the movie and it came back out to like the Netflix description, it said a dark comedy. And I was like, oh, I've never heard of a dark comedy before. This is totally a dark comedy. But I really did like both of those movies, and they're both on Netflix. We did not go to the movie theaters this weekend, though hopefully we will go this week. We have AMC Movie Pass, or whatever it's called, AMC A-List or something like that. And so we can see several movies a week for one fee that we pay every month. So if we don't go to like 2 movies, we're losing money, basically. So we need to go to movies. Okay, lastly, weekly wins. So I am celebrating more than just a weekly win this week. I am celebrating kind of like a quarterly win, because I have just completed 3 months of power planning. And let me explain what that means. So I know I have shared this a lot, but I'm so obsessed with it, and it has really changed not only like the way that I organize myself and my day-to-day business stuff, but it's really changed a lot more than that. It's kind of changed my mindset. It's changed my self-worth. And this is only the beginning of it. And so I'm just really excited about it. So there is a program called, there is a podcast called The Perfectionism Project, and that I will link down below. It's Sam Laura Brown, and that is a free podcast you can listen to. Amazing stuff. You can get so much from the podcast. But then there is a program within it called PGSD, and if you are a business owner, I would definitely recommend, if you're an entrepreneur, I would definitely recommend this program. It's actually opening up again at the end of April, but I signed up in January, and the first phase is called the 3-month commitment to power planning. And so that's what I've been in right now. So basically it's kind of like for perfectionists who have a really hard time like with procrastination, which I totally did. I didn't like realize it or like know how to talk about it, but for perfectionists, it's like absolutely amazing. So like if you could relate to me talking about the planning stuff with the knitting, then you may benefit from PGSD or from the Perfectionism Project podcast. Anyway, so the first phase is 3-month commitment to power planning, and power planning looks a little bit like this. Can you see my calendar? So it's so cool. I know this may look like intense to some people, but this is so freeing to know what on earth I'm doing when I wake up in the morning, because as a business owner, I didn't realize how hard my first year full time was going to be. When I was working, it was actually a lot easier to go, okay, I have like 3 hours between work and when I need to like go to bed, and I can do X, Y, and Z. And I did so much better with that. And then all of a sudden when I had the time, I was like lost. I was like, I don't know what to do. I don't even want to get out of bed because I'm like anxious about what I'm supposed to do today, which I don't even know what it is. And I really struggled, honestly, all last year with that. And so this has been amazing. It has totally transformed my life. I am not even joking or exaggerating in that, but I'm celebrating 3 months of committing to just the power planning portion, which is like doing the planning properly and putting it in the calendar and all that. So now that I'm done with that, I'm actually moving on to a new phase, which is a lot of mindset work. So I am pretty excited about that. I continue power planning, which is good. I need to do that because I'm still getting better and better each week about that, and like learning like, okay, so like for example, right now, I gave myself from 11:45 to 1 p.m. to do the podcast, and it's 12:45 right now. So it looks like that was a good time block for me because I'm gonna finish the podcast in that time. But when I first started power planning, I only gave myself an hour to do the planning for the podcast and record the podcast. And then I realized that that wasn't enough time because I actually had it on my calendar. So then I would go, okay, you know what? I actually need 30 minutes just to plan the podcast. And I need an hour and a half to hour and 15 to an hour and a half to actually record the podcast. So that was pretty I just never knew before how long it took me, so I couldn't plan for it. Anyway, I'm celebrating 3 months. I'm really proud of myself for sticking to it every single week, even when it was hard. And I'm even more excited to go into the next phase this afternoon. I'm going to be starting on the next module. I also kind of have to I'm proud of myself for not moving on to the next phase early because I really wanted to. I'm like, oh, what's next? I just want to learn. And I realized that that is just me avoiding doing what I actually need to do, and instead replacing that with another activity like learning about the next thing, which is called procrastinating. Anyway, I am excited to move into the next phase, and I'm proud of myself for this past 3 months of work that I have done. It's made a huge impact in my life and with Knitty Natty, and hopefully that is something that if you haven't seen already, you'll start to see in the whole Knitty Natty world, because while I've been working these last few months to really focus on the planning piece, it's kind of helped me get on top of all the stuff that I wanted to do and take out things that were just busy work so I can really focus on the important things. And that's going to lead into me being able to do more impactful stuff with Knitty Natty, actually follow through on the designs I want to do, follow through on the make-alongs that I want to do, like I was saying, participate in them because I'm carving out that space for myself. And overall, it's just made me feel a lot more joyful in the day-to-day work that I'm doing. Anyway, I feel like this was a very reflective podcast. Lots and lots of personal development happening here. Thank you so much for watching. Check out all the links down below for anything that I talked about, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.